Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a little image comparison between these two cameras. We have the CM or VM as it's printed on this one, 275t. And then we have the EF-02. And they're very similar cameras, but we can see we've got a little bit of a different layout. And I've actually resoldered the antenna back on that one. And our antenna or our power leads are in different locations. This one has a nice connector. But if we look closer at this connector, we find that it's reversed. This is mine out of my stock. I've used many of these, and this is the one that came with the camera. So be careful about your lead. That was a tip that I got from one of you. Thank you very much. I actually hadn't thought about pulling out this lead because it does come with nice silicone wire, and I appreciate silicone wire because it's easier to work with. It's more resistant to heat. So let's take some weights. Those are always important when we're dealing with micros. 275t, 3.3. Do note this is a used 275t, and I have a little bit of heat shrink on there, so 3.2, 3.3, that's going to be our official weight. 3.4. So a little bit heavier, but not much. We do have that circular polarized antenna, and if we look at the coax, it does look like it's thicker over here on the EF-02. So you could probably cut a half a gram if you were to put an antenna like this on there. But you might not be interested in that, so let's get some measurements. The width of the 275t looks like it's 4.5 millimeters. The casing depth is about 7.59, 7.6. The height on the non-switch side is 12.04, and our total depth, including the lens of the camera, is 15.41. The width of the EF-02 is 14.65. The depth is 6.66. The height on the lowest side is 12.23. The depth, including the lens, is 15.7. The 275 operates with two switches. You've got one switch to change your frequency, one switch to change your band. I think you can also do some other things by long pressing this button, like inversing or changing from NTSC and PAL, but that's not our primary focus right here. This has a single switch button, so we're just using the one button with different lengths of presses to get our different frequencies and bands. Let me try to get these cameras nice up and close in the back. You can pause the video if you want to try to read what's on the back here. I'm going to set these up on a platform so that we can get a same shot on both of them, and I'm going to space them out just a little bit, but it should be really close to having the same experience on each camera, except for whatever the image quality is of the lens. We won't be doing a range test, so if you're looking for a range test, this video is not for you. We're just going to look at the quality of the image that we see. We're just going to take it from our setup in little shop, and as you see on screen, the video is not exact. Despite my best efforts here, my pre-processing has failed. I apologize. It's going to make it a bit more difficult. As we head up the stairs, we can see the natural light coming through, and both cameras do pretty well. I will say that I've done this test a few times, and I flip-flop the DVRs back and forth with the cameras to see if I noticed any difference, and to my eye I did not notice a difference in what was being recorded from one DVR to the next on the same camera. So I don't believe in this case we have any of that. If you see any flashing or anything that looks like radio signal stuff, it's probably because I've got one DVR on my head and the other one hanging around my wrist. Go outside, and we'll go out here just outside of the pergola, and we'll do a little turnaround and get the cameras up close to the stands, and this will give us a little bit of an idea of the fisheye of the cameras. This may be something you're sensitive to, maybe not, but it's a good thing to do in my opinion. We've got a nice sunny day, and the outside color representation I think is more true on the EF-02. Just to give you some idea of what my backyard actually looks like versus the camera's interpretation, I think the EF-02 is closer. The cement and the bricks are much more white than you see in the cm275. We see we got that black dot in the sun, and I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but it's one of those things that just stands out, and it may bother you, it may not. The cm275 seems to have a bit of an orange tint in this particular case, with the fallen leaves still on the ground and some of the foliage. It's a little bit more green, or excuse me, a little bit more orange. Here we're standing in the shade, just kind of looking around. We're going to head back inside, and we'll also do a nighttime inside. I fly a lot at night, so that's something that I'm concerned about. How much does it blow out the light? How much detail can you see through the light? Things of this nature is what I'm looking for, because flying at night with the inside house lights on does change what you see in the goggles. And if you see anything in this video that goes a little bit fast, I believe YouTube has down in the gear icon in the lower right hand of your screen the ability to play a little bit slower, or of course you can always use the pause button to pause things and do another comparison. If you have any questions or comments about what you've seen, I can sure try to answer them as best I can. I've spent a good deal of time on these two cameras, and I've used the cm275 a lot. But I may be switching to EF-02. I wish they had a version with a linear antenna, because I do believe they work almost as well, but they withstand damage a whole lot better. Alright everybody, I hope you got some information that was useful, and thank you for watching.